Oh, ours just went dark. It just stopped. It literally stopped working. It was hot, and it was unbearable. I mean, it might have been the hottest day of the year, like 95. We had a air conditioning problem. It didn't work, and it was hot, and it was the middle of summer, and it was brutal. Years ago, when I needed a service call on my old system, I called around, and I do that. I shop, man. I am just crazy about that because you don't want to be foolish. So I made a couple calls to well-known heating and cooling places, and I just said, this is what I've got, this is the problem I have, what do you think? And I called one, and it was a little outrageous, I thought. Called another one and thought. Then I actually saw a commercial, I think, for Fire and Ice. So I said, Fire and Ice, nice name. I'm gonna give them a call. And I have to tell you, the amazing part was that we were suffering, and they were like, I'll come out today, take a look, tell you what you need. And Luke came out, and we just went through everything. He gave me every option, every possibility, and it was still hard. It was hard to make a decision. There were technical things that a layman wouldn't understand. So I had to rely and ask questions and questions and questions. And I think for 24 hours, Luke and I were just texting back and forth and calling back and forth because I wanted to make sure I made the right decision. I said, Luke, you're sitting in my shoes right now. What are you getting, and tell me why? And it was three choices and a bit of an economic difference between the three choices. So, once again, I relied on this man who I just met, but I felt was actually working in my best interest. And so I went with, exactly what Luke told me, he would do if it were his home. And this is an old home. I mean, it was built in 1933, and I'm not sure when things started happening in the basement and ductwork and things like that. All I know is I go down there, I look up and I go, wow, this is complicated. And they came in, the Fire and Ice people came in, just the nicest guys in the world, and they worked. And it was just amazing to watch. And they made sure every aspect down in the basement was sealed off or taken care of, or this duct changed in this direction. I just thought it was really cool how these guys talked to me as if this was they were doing this for me. This was for me. They weren't just doing a job and trying to get out of here. They were taking however long it was gonna take to get it right. As those guys were wrapping things up downstairs, one of the technicians, he came up and he said, let's talk about this thermostat. And we got into it because I was just impressed with the technology. I love that stuff, and I love the whole phone thing and everything in the app. But getting onto there and being able to schedule, and now I just get my phone out, and it's kind of cool, Just hit a couple numbers, and 3 minutes later I'm like, yeah, this is the way it's supposed to be. It's fantastic. The kids used to call this house the igloo. It was cold. It was always cold in here, or it was always hot. It just was. And I thought, old home, floors, I don't know. That's just the way it's the way life is. The day of the installation and that night and the next day, my kids would tell me, things are different in here. And we were like, we didn't think things could be like this. Honest to God, we didn't think it could be like this. And the whole house was all of a sudden really comfortable. And it all had to do with new system and the guys knowing what they were doing down there, putting things together correctly so the air would go to the proper places. And I found that the whole atmosphere in here just seems to be cleaner, fresher, better. And better is really good. So I'm kind of beholding. Fire and Ice did, what they told me they were going to do, though I'm not sure I believed it at the beginning. and they hit a home run. I've got an incredible family. I'm gonna get emotional. Okay, great kids. Wife is incredible. Great life. And I'm thankful for it. And I. It's just nice to not have to worry about when you're in your house. When you're in your home, you'd like to be comfortable. Not everybody is. So not only do I like it, but I appreciate it because we can do that. We can be comfortable in our house, and that's what it's all about. Being comfortable